Brother, one of the obviously the theme of today's event is influence, and so we've had some conversation, and you've had a lot of mentors and a lot of influences in your life. But who would you say has had the greatest influence or impact on you professionally, and what was it about them that really caused them to still resonate in your mind today?
Inside the community, for the first probably 2 years, it's just a gut check. You have trainers and instructors and leadership that you just keep your mouth shut and your eyes forward, and you get pretty much, as we were talking about last night, you start getting institutionalized, right? And sometimes institutionalization is not a bad thing, all right? But there's a purpose for everything that they tried to do going through training, and then all the training that precedes that, or actually that continues after that. And throughout that period of time, within those segments of the 28 years, I found myself, you see people of like mind the way you think, even though I'm keeping my mouth shut, leadership traits that I wouldn't even know that they were leadership traits. I knew nothing about leadership. I was a sled dog, and I just wanted to be the best at my job. And throughout those portions and segments of my life, within the career, I've had probably just a handful of mentors that really stuck out. And the one thing that I think out of all the things that all these wonderful speakers up here have talked about as far as influencing your troops, being influenced, all these things that I found out that was probably the most important for me is that this individual was genuine. And as law enforcement officers, as public safety officers, you guys already are pretty intuitive of people. You understand exactly where they're coming from, whether they're full of poop or they're telling the truth, and so on and so forth. So our group of young wolves were the same way. We knew what instructors and trainers were genuine, and the other was that were just had a kind of on that graph that you showed earlier about intimidation and manipulation and so on and so forth. So if I had to pick a trait that impacted me was that these individuals didn't even try to be a leader, didn't even try to influence you. It just exuded. And by that, I felt that they were truly genuine in what they tried to do to teach us to use all our tangibles or develop all our tangible skill sets. But also there's a lot of intangible skill sets that were developed over that course of time. So being genuine, leading by example, everybody understands that. And ultimately, when you trust that leader, there's not anything that you won't do for them or for your brothers when you go into harm's way. So.
Yeah, and you talk about leading by example, and we were having a conversation last night. So one of the young lads that was in the photo there, your youngest son Grayson, came to you and he said, Dad, I'm moving into a leadership position. What advice do you have for me? What could you tell me about leadership as I move into this position and take over this unit? And can you share with the audience a little bit about what you told him?
I always try to stay out of my son's way. It's for them to learn and figure out certain things on their own. But of course, being their dad, if they ask, I try to kind of provide them an overview instead of trying to inundate them with all the things that I've learned in 28 years. And the only thing that I could come up with, I said, for me, what the most important trait was the fact that you have to lead by example. And I guess what I mean by that is that your ability as a leader, there's a lot of things that you gain from other individuals that you trust, that have influenced you, that have mentored you, that have guided you, that have counseled you, that you start taking a form within yourself. And that is what my foundation was to be a trainer and to be an instructor, to be a mentor, all these, the time frame that I stayed. And so what I did was I took that and instead of being a father to my son, I talked to him as a sergeant in the Marine Corps. And I wanted to give him the tools to be able to go ahead and lead his troops, whether into harm's way or organization, whatever it is. So that lead by example was probably the first thing that came to my thought process. So many traits of leadership, and not being an academic, but there are things that you feel, and you have to feel those things. And talking about being genuine to your troops, so that way they are influenced almost under the radar, to be able to be led by you. They have to trust you to go into harm's way or to do things that are part of the values and the ethos of the organization. So that was pretty much what I told him, and I think he ran with it. So.